Good afternoon, ice creamers. Welcome to your bi-weekly screams with Lucky Limes and Lawrence Cool J Gibbs. And we're going to get straight into it today because we know that this time goes so fast. Jay, how the hell are you?
I'm doing well, Mr. Lucky Limes. How the F are you, my friend? Always good to see you. Always good to see you doing this.
Oh man, we're dropping F-bombs already. This is amazing. I love
Hell
it. Well,
yeah.
actually, listen, let's get straight into. I know you've
Yes.
been studying the news. Tell us all what's going on in the world of sci-fi and horror at the moment, Jay.
Well, right now, guess what, boys and girls? Guess what, our ice creamers? Dewey's coming back from the dead. That's right. For Scream 7, Dewey is coming back from the dead. Now, again, we were talking about Scream 7 coming up, how they brought Stu back, or how they're going to be probably bringing Stu back. And we were like, well, everybody, all the fandoms, like, he got his head crushed by television.
How are they going? Yeah, I know. You got to wonder how are they
Yeah.
gonna bring? Hey, and actually, let's stop for a second here. Well, look at this. We've got okay. So we know Stu's back.
Yes, yes.
Um, as you just mentioned, Dewey. Now we know. Also, they've Scott Foley's back as Roman from the third.
Oh my gosh. So
Right?
again, it begs the question because again, with Skeet Ulrich's character Billy Loomis, he was
Mm-hmm.
more of a possibly a figment of his daughter's imagination and kind
Right.
of guiding her from beyond the grave. So is this going to be another Ghost of Scream Past with David Arquette's character of Dewey? Maybe, maybe
Mm.
not. I mean, we're bringing all these people back. Why don't we just bring back Randy? Okay, let's bring back Randy.
Oh.
Again, we love Dewey was a fan favorite. We all love Dewey. We do, but we also love Randy. So
Yeah.
let's bring Randy back. And while we're at it, why don't we bring back Wes Craven from the dead?
I think we're bringing Wes Craven back unless somebody, we have like a flashlight, a shovel, and a Ouija board. I think we're toast on that one, right? We're
That
not.
that that sounds
But
like a job for you and I. I'm game if you're game.
it's funny though. Like, what do you? It's just a thought. Just a thought.
Yeah, yeah,
Do
yeah.
you wonder if this is going to be like a little bit this movie that's going to be like a little bit of like greatest go face go like battle against greatest ghost faces? I really don't
Yeah.
no idea which way they're going with it, right?
Yeah, but that's one thing that we love. I mean, you and I and all the fans of Scream, that's one thing that we love about this franchise. It really does leave you guessing, and it is one of the best franchises out there. And we joke about Randy going over the rules. It makes fun of itself. It is self-aware, but it also breaks the rules. And those are the aspects that we really love about this franchise.
Well, we are going to find out because the release date has been set now. It's February of next year, February 2026.
Yep.
There is a date, but I'm not going to say that because we both know the game of how they shift dates right now. As
Yeah.
of this point, February 2026, we will all be in multiplexes finding out what's going to happen in Scream 7. What else is new, Jay?
Well, we have a new series from the studio A24. A24 has come a long way. It really has. Brilliant. It was one of those really kind of low budget indies, but it's progressively gotten better and better. Better budgets, better stories, better movies. It's the same studio that brought us Heretic. I don't know if you saw Heretic.
I did. I loved it. I thought it was terrific.
It was absolutely brilliant. Watched it the other week and I was like, "Oh my god, this is an absolute incredible movie." And literally a commentary on on the aspect of how should I say this conversion, the door-to-door salesman conversion. Everybody, you have to see this. I'm not going to say anymore. You have to see this movie. But another movie from A24, Maxine, absolutely
Right?
wonderfully done, brilliant movie, and The Iron Claw. So this studio is coming a long way, but now they are offering a prequel series from Friday the 13th called Crystal Lake.
Right. Okay.
Yes, yes, and Linda Cardellini is going to be playing Mrs. Voorhees. That's right, that's right, Mrs. Voorhees, and if you got the answer correct, and I can't do the ghost voice, I don't have the box right here. Who was the first killer of Friday the 13th? Jason, it was Jason. Wrong. It was Mrs. Voorhees. Bullshit. I saw that movie a million times. Well, then you would know that it was actually Mrs. Voorhees who was the first killer. So, yes, definitely looking forward to this new series. It should be very interesting. It's going to be launched by Peacock, and it's actually being executive produced by Victor Miller, who actually wrote the original screenplay for the original Friday the 13th. So, you know it's going to be dark, you know it's going to be gory, and it's going to I think it's going to be more of the psychological undertaking, the back, obviously it's going to be the backstory of how she lost it once she lost her precious little Jason. And I think the lesson here is you don't have unprotected sex in unprotected woods.
This is a valid point. That's a very valid
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
Wasn't that the theme of all these movies, right? Something like that.
Yeah, well, that was pretty much the entire theme of the 80s slasher subgenre, right?
I
But
know, right?
interesting. Doing a show about Mrs. Voorhees. I mean, we went into this territory when they did the TV show Bates Motel, right? Where they basically backed
Yes.
up and did a prequel to
Yes.
Psycho. They had sort of Norma Bates and young Norman
Mhm.
Bates growing up. So I wonder, but the thing I find interesting with this one, and I wonder how you feel, is Jason. Yes, Jason showed up in at the end of the movie. He jumps out of the
Yes.
water, and then he becomes the main protagonist
Yes.
in Friday the 13th Part 2. But unlike Bates Motel, where they were still focused on the character of Norman,
Yes.
I think you and I can both agree, even though Jason turned up later, he is Friday the 13th. He is the
Oh, yes.
indelible icon of that series. So I kind of wonder how much mileage they're going to get out of. I mean, if you talk to the average person, I mean, I know you
Mhm.
joke about that scene in Scream there where Drew Barrymore's character says, "Oh, what's that movie?"
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's self-referential. But
Yes.
the fact of the matter is, if you talk to the average person on the street, they automatically think Friday the 13th, Jason, Friday. Oh, yeah, that was
Yes.
Jason, right? They
Yes.
don't think Pamela Voorhees.
Yes.
So, I don't know, man. Are you excited about it? What do you think?
No, I'm very excited about it. And I know we say this that we're surprised that it wasn't done sooner, but I mean, for me, I never would have thought of it. It's kind of over and done.
Mm,
For the original, obviously, you have this mom that was kind of unhinged to begin with, but
true.
her son got lost. Her special needs son got
Yep.
was drowned because he wasn't being taken care of by these camp counselors. That was their main responsibility. But why was she unhinged? Well, obviously having Jason that probably was a contributing factor, but who was the father? What was that background? So if they dive deep into that, I think perhaps one good solid season. And there are series out there that are just one incredible solid season and then boom, it's done, which for a lot of them, that's how it should be. At least for me, that's how it should be. Do they have enough material? And I think you were bringing up the point here. Do they have enough material to perhaps go to a second season? I don't know if they should push it. If it's popular and people really loving it, again, the fans of the franchise are really loving it, would we want a second season if it totally leaves a bad taste in our mouth after a really solid first season? What do you think on
Yeah, you know what? I guess what I agree with what you're saying. It's kind of a wait and see game, right? We've got I mean, they may knock our socks off. I mean,
that?
let's be honest. Remember in the 80s when they did a Friday the 13th show before? It was called Friday the 13th, the series.
Yeah. Yes,
And
yes.
right, but it was kind of a cheat because it was just
Yes.
about but with that
Yeah.
said, I don't know
Yeah.
if you used to watch it. It was a terrific show where they were
Yeah.
getting back the cursed items.
Yes.
And there was
Yes.
supposed to be, there was going to be a running gag that they were going to have a hockey mask in the antique shop, which never materialized. But I
Yes.
guess the point I'm making, to be
Yes.
concise, is that they did it with a show that absolutely just used the name and didn't even link to the series and was
Yeah.
successful, ran for three
Yeah.
seasons. So who knows? Maybe this one will be will like knock the ball out of the park. Who knows?
No, hopefully. And again, time will only say when this gets launched on Peacock. And again, how deep will they dive into the background of Pamela Voorhees?
Yeah.
That's going to be the key factor, I think, right there. How deep are they going to dive into it? Probably not as deep as Crystal Lake itself, because Jason was able to come up, so obviously it wasn't that deep. But they need to dive deep. Notice how it kind of.
I see where you're going with that. I see what you did there.
Thank you.
I got a couple of things I want to bring up. You talked about TV. Let's stick with TV for a
Yes.
second. Stick with
Okay.
Noah Hawley's Alien Earth that's coming to Hulu. Have you been
Oh,
keeping up on that? Have you been keeping track of that production?
no, I have not.
Oh, you silly, silly man. You need to. Oh, mate, you. I'm just kidding. I just fucking with you. No. Okay. So Noah Hawley, obviously, like he did the Fargo TV series and everything. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's a show coming to Hulu. Just to be quick here. Alien Earth. It's set 2 years before the original Alien. The aesthetic is exactly
Mm-hmm.
like the original Alien. They've replicated it like for beautifully.
Nice.
It looks exactly like you're on the Nostromo. But yeah, essentially, it's telling a story about all they've dropped. They've been very mysterious about it.
Yeah.
Is it deals with some kind of a crashed ship on Earth, and people go to investigate it. Scientists go to investigate it, and it's somehow tied to the xenomorphs. They've also said they're really going to dive into the whole android aspect that we saw with Ash and with
Mm-hmm.
Bishop, those
Yes.
characters. So I'm looking forward to that. That's coming,
Right on.
I believe later this year. But the other thing that I heard this week that really got me excited is, did you see Godzilla -1?
Oh yes, God yes, loved it.
It
It
was
was so
terrific, and here's the thing: it wasn't just a great Godzilla film; it was a
yeah.
great film.
Yes.
Period. I
Yes.
don't know about you, but one of the issues because I mean, technically, we've got two Godzilla franchises running right now. We've got the
Mm-hmm.
American
Yeah.
franchise, which is like shows like all there
The
was the
King
one with
Kong.
Bryan Cranston, right? King Kong,
Yeah.
Bryan Cranston was in one. We've got that show Legacy, Monarch Legacy of Monsters. They've got
Mm-hmm.
Kong, everything. So you
Yeah.
got that friend, and then you've got the original Toho Studios, which brought us
Yes.
Godzilla to begin with. Well, -1, one of the things I loved about it, and one of the things that, and I'm going to get to where we're going with this in a second, so please bear with me.
Yeah.
I love one of the things that I've always found with the Godzilla movies that troubles me is that the human characters seem to be very extraness to the story. It's almost like they're crammed in because they know that they can't have 90 minutes to 2 hours of just Godzilla carnage. We have to have this.
Yeah.
But Godzilla -1, man, that was a very important film. You've got this story of this kamikaze pilot
Mm-hmm.
that basically chickens out
Yeah.
of doing his mission, which right there. He's like, oh my goodness. First of all, we're setting this in World War II. We're setting this around this kamikaze pilot. But also, I found this is the first time really you see a movie that really dives into what what World War II was like for Japanese civilians. I mean, you
Yeah.
saw. I mean, good God. I mean, I mean, listen. World War II was full of atrocities.
Yes.
We know that. But
Yes.
at the end of the day, you know, the Japanese people, by and large, didn't deserve getting two nukes dropped on them. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know that's whatever your opinion,
Yeah. Yeah.
but and showing the way that they just were just a crushed people at the end of that war was incredible. What a backdrop to set the story against. So the news that's dropped this week is obviously we know
Mm-hmm.
it was a huge success.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah.
Takashi Yamazaki, who was the director, the writer and director of Godzilla -1, he has been greenlit to do I'm going to say follow-up, because we don't know if it's going to be a direct sequel or not.
Mm-hmm.
But he's been greenlit to do the new one, to do another movie following on from Godzilla -1. The budget's going to be higher. And given what we have just discussed, how great that film was, I can't wait to see what
Oh
he
yeah.
brings
Yeah,
to the
for
table.
sure.
Excellent, excellent. And another thing that came up this week, I mean, yeah, Godzilla, can't wait for that. I'll be definitely
Yes.
in line to see that. But the other thing that, and this is the last bit of news that I have
Mhm.
from this week, which really got me excited, is obviously, we've got Avengers Doomsday coming, Nick. That's the next big Marvel movie that's on the horizon, right? The Avengers are coming back.
Yes, yes,
Avengers Doomsday leading into Avengers Secret Wars.
yes.
And obviously, to get into what's going on with Doomsday is more time than we would have in this show. But
Oh, yeah.
this week, they did the cast drop. You must have noticed there,
Mhm.
they announced all the cast that's coming into Doomsday. And in there, Channing Tatum is coming back as Gambit, which I gotta tell
Yes.
you, man, like, yeah, wasn't he fucking brilliant in Deadpool?
Totally, man. Totally. But again,
Brilliant.
too, that's one thing with Deadpool Wolverine that was crucial to continue with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And only
Mm,
Deadpool Wolverine could have done it, is bringing it all together so it could launch in its entirety what the Marvel Cinematic Universe can offer based on the properties that
yes,
Marvel has.
yes.
Everything we grew up with, all these freaking awesome characters, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they held up. They did the rear view mirror where they brought in, like we saw Blade, we saw
Yeah.
Jennifer Garner back as Elektra. No,
Johnny
going to bed.
Storm.
Johnny
And she could
Storm,
do
who saw that coming?
my
Who
cinnamon
saw that?
ring and blah, blah. Oh my God, loved it.
But with Channing Tatum as Gambit, the
Yeah.
thing that I love about that is because we all know that, I mean, the guy was attached to a Gambit movie for like over a decade.
Yeah.
And all these videos came up, of him training for the role and everything. And then it never materialized. And, it's easy to forget that some of these big budget stars
Yeah.
they're people too. And they suffer the same disappointments that the rest. And I felt really sorry for him because you could tell he was gutted. So it was lovely to see him
Yeah.
finally get to play the role in Deadpool Wolverine. And the
Yes.
fact that he hit the ball so far out the park that Marvel are automatically like, we got to bring him back. And now he's going to be in Doomsday. Channing Tatum, if you're watching this, we love you, man. We can't wait to see
Totally.
you back as Raw. And yeah, that's deal those cards, brother. Blow them away. It's going to be freaking amazing.
Oh
So,
hell yeah. And on that, before you went, Fantastic Four as well.
first
Another.
steps. Yeah. Yeah. Pedro Pascal, what do you feel as Pedro? Listen, and first of all, I want to preface by saying I love Pedro Pascal. I think he's
Yes, definitely.
phenomenal in everything.
Oh
But
yeah.
the reason I ask you how you feel is it almost feels like at the moment when you're having these meetings for things, okay, how can so we got this great story, we got these great
Mhm.
characters. How can we really blow this out of the water? And then someone puts a hand up like, at Pedro Pascal. Good idea, right? Like he's literally the Last of Us,
Yes.
Fantastic Four, Game of Thrones. Like the guy can do no wrong. No, the
Yeah.
Mandalorian, right?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
almost feels like he's the essential ingredient in any good
Yeah.
movie now, right?
Yeah, no, I was perplexed as well. I again love Pedro Pascal, love him. He's a phenomenal actor and pretty damn diverse. He really is.
Yeah,
But I was
yeah.
like, for Reed Richards, really? Who thought that was a great
Well,
idea? My
he's got to
son, my
he's got to
son is
kill
a
it.
way big, fan, more of a, not really more of a fan, but more entrenched, than I am on that one. That's right. Shout out to my son Jeremy. What? No, I'm just kidding. But he he was like, he goes, Dad, he's going to do a phenomenal job. I go, but I just can't see him. He's like, trust me, they did screeners, they did tests. Fans are going to love them. They already were excited about this. I'm like, okay. Saw a couple of the trailers. I'm like, okay, he he is playing Reed Richards, and I can see it, and I'm looking forward to seeing him portray him.
He has yet to disappoint. He has yet to disappoint. And getting into that trailer, what you were saying there, yeah, I mean, the other let's not ignore the other big thing that makes that look so exciting. We're finally seeing Galactus comic
Yes,
book, not some stupid fucking cloud like they did in that Rise of the Silver Surfer. Like, I mean, talk about lunch
yes,
bag letdown. We sat
yeah,
and watched that movie and like Galactus coming, Galactus coming. Oh my god! Oh, it's a cloud. What
yeah,
the But we're seeing you got that little shot of the head. You're seeing
yes.
the comics accurate and
And
Ralph
the original
Ineson,
costumes.
the original costumes. Ralph Ineson he's gonna kill it as Galactus because just
Oh,
his voice is
yes.
so imposing,
Oh, yeah.
so imposing. He's gonna absolutely smash that role. He's gonna. I can't wait. I can't
Smash
wait.
it like Galactus. Mm.
Yeah, bring it. So let's talk about anyway. Moving on. Yeah. So last night I went to see the Woman in the Yard.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know if you've. It's another Blumhouse movie. I don't know if you've seen
Yeah.
any trailers of it.
Well, when we went to go see the monkey, it was one of the trailers. I think I mentioned it when we were doing that episode. I'm like, oh, here's another horror movie that looks really good. I can't wait to see it. But
Yeah, yeah. Again, this is going to be very spoilery because, quite honestly, I consider it a public service to warn people about this film. I'm going to try to start with the positive. So the gist of the film is you got this mom. She's living at a farmhouse with her two kids. She's going through trauma and depression because there was a car accident and she lost her husband. And all of a sudden, one day, the power's out in their house during the day, and the woman looks out. The mum looks out the window, and across the lawn, there's this strange figure in black sitting, yeah, with a black veil over
yeah,
it, just
yeah,
sitting at the edge of the farmhouse. So right off the bat, you're kind of like, okay, this is interesting. This could be because I mean, there's definitely there's a lot of room for exploration in. Oh, you get your different types of revenants and the
yeah,
ghostly spectral dark figure is like it's one of the oldest things in ghost stories, right? The woman in
yeah,
black,
yeah.
whistle and you'll come to me. It's oh god, I don't even know where to start, dude. I don't even know where to start.
It's okay. Take a deep breath, cranky old limes. It's going to be okay. But we know, especially like you were saying from Bloomhouse, sounds like this was a tremendous disappointment. And the trailers just lie to us. And I feel for I'm gonna shed a tear for you. I am.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna. You want to shed a tear for me? Shed a tear for anyone who dropped money on this bloody abomination. Because, like, honestly, the directing by Jaume Collet Serra is phenomenal. Like, it looks
Okay.
great. It's
Yeah.
beautifully shot, but the story, oh my God, it is an absolute abomination. It's like someone dropped a plate of spaghetti on the floor, wrote some ideas on a script, tore them up, mushed them all around, and you've just got this weird thing that is stretched. Dude, I kid you not, it's stretched out for 90 minutes when
Damn.
at at best, you might have a half an hour Twilight Zone story out of this. But it's horrible. It goes off
Yeah.
the rails right from the moment when from the minute she sees this figure,
Yeah.
that's it. It's done. Because right out the gate, the characters act. If there's one thing I can't stand, it's if you're what's the old saying with these things, if you're gonna tell a lie with these stories, if you're gonna tell a lie,
Yeah.
put as much truth in as you can. So
Yes.
the first thing you've got to acknowledge is this is a woman living in the middle of nowhere with her two kids, and she suddenly sees a figure at the edge of the yard. You're a parent, I'm a parent.
Yes.
He goes out there to talk to this figure. Excuse me, what are you doing on my lawn? And this thing starts talking about today's the day, blah, blah, blah. Right? Acts weird. Now, I don't know about you.
Yeah.
Well, no, I do know. You'd be calling the police.
Yeah.
I'd be calling the police. All right. They say she's got no power. Her phone's dead. Well, that's kind of a bit
Yeah.
of a contrivance, but whatever. I'll go with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
One way or another, one way or another, you're going to be protecting your kids. The first thing that's going to go through your mind is there's someone here that's potentially bonkers. You're going to ask them to get off the lawn. If they don't get off the lawn, you're going to do one of two things. You're either going to put their head on a swivel
Hmm.
or you're going to get your kids and you're going to leave. She goes back in and they start playing games and doing things. And I'm just sitting there like, what about the fucking lunatic sitting on the lawn over there? And you like logic goes out the window. And then from that point on, it just honestly, it just evolves. It just
Yeah.
evolves. The story jumps backwards and forwards for making you what's real, what's not real. You know, you
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm all about surrealism. I don't mind surrealism.
Yeah.
David Lynch, for example, David Lynch, the late David Lynch, very surreal. But you always get that sense when you're watching his films that he knows what's going on and he's just translating his idea. This is just like I don't think anyone knew what was going on. I don't think
Yeah.
anyone knew. And when you get to the point where you start realizing what this figure represents,
Yeah.
and I'm going to talk about that right now because
Okay. All right.
frankly, I find it really fucking offensive. I got to be honest with you. I don't get offended
Yeah.
easily, but
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So essentially, the woman is dealing with the guilt her of her husband losing her husband in this car accident, and she's wrestling with the idea of committing suicide. Now, I suffer with depression and anxiety. I've wrestled that. I think your average person on has gone through at some point where they've got up and they've looked in the mirror. It's something traumatic has happened in your life, and you've said, I can't go on. I
Yeah.
don't think I can go on. Right. And I want to be 100% clear here. I am not in any way, shape, or form judging people that have taken their lives. I feel a great swell of sadness for anyone that gets to that point where they can't see another way out of their
Yeah.
situation other than to end their life. So I want to be clear. This is not a judgment. But as a parent,
Yeah.
when you go through that feeling, if there's nothing else that you can see to get you from the A to B, the one thing that always wins out is my kids need me. My kids
Very
need
much
me.
so.
I have to push through, right?
Yeah.
And and then it's about how you deal with that, with those thoughts, and whether you learn something from it and how you get the strength to push through. So if this is a story about a woman that's having suicidal thoughts and then fights back for a kid, no, she essentially, this figure is here to help her commit suicide. And she's happy with that. And the message of this, yeah, oh essentially, dude, essentially, the essential message of this movie, what I got from this movie is
Uh-huh.
when you feel like ending your life, do it. Your kids will be fine. Like, what the actual fuck kind of a message is that to putting it in a film? I was sitting in there with about 10 other people. Four people walked out before,
Yeah.
like
Wow.
four people walk. I mean, listen, and again, I want to be clear. The
Yeah.
story's a mess. The story's a mess. Like, it's an
Yeah.
absolute mess. And it becomes even more insulting because, first of all, I don't agree with the message you're pushing.
Yeah.
I don't like the message you're pushing. But in the world of art, we can talk about hard subjects.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
But that, right, you can talk about. But this is a very serious subject. And to be throwing it into a shitty horror movie where, and when I say shitty, I
Yeah.
mean, it's got its cat scares and its jump scares. So it's trying to have its cake and eat it. It's
Yeah.
trying
Yeah.
to talk about a serious issue, but trying to scare you at the same time. And the scares don't make sense because this figure that's supposedly here to help her take her own life starts terrorizing the kids and doing things to the kids. Well, hang on.
Yeah.
Like, what the actual fuck? I'm actually getting angry thinking about it. You know what?
Yeah.
I gotta take a pill, but I don't mean to go to a dark place.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. But
given what I've told you or about
yeah.
what, and again, you got to make your own mind up. I
Yeah.
mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, so I mean, again, too, one of the things that really connect you and I is, we have very similar backgrounds, and someone who's really struggled with this and for many years, and you know, how it's affecting my life and kids and what have you, I'm not all right with that message. I'm not. And that's actually you're right. And I know we throw some f-bombs around on this podcast, but that is pretty fucked up. It really is.
It is pretty fucked up. It is pretty
It
fucked
is.
up. And we talk about, and again, initially, you and I have talked about, hey, why don't we talk about like a silly horror movie we've seen? And I've seen plenty of silly horror movies in my time.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's, there's even fun to be had from a silly horror, like from a movie that goes
Yeah.
off the rails, right? But
Yeah.
I don't know, when you've got something as ineptly executed as this, and your final message that you're leaving with the audience is, and that's basically it, because the gist of the end, and again, I don't care if I'm spoiling this. I don't give a fuck. I
Yeah.
don't apologize to the studio that made it. I don't apologize. Like, the performances, the actors are great, but when your final message in your film is, hey, look, she, because essentially
Yeah.
the gist is that she kills herself. Now it seems like she's in a lovely reality where it's okay. I'm not cool with that. I'm
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
cool with that. So, you know
Yeah.
what? I don't. I guess I really should pull the plug there, because on that thought, because I don't want to end the show on a depressive note like that.
No,
But
no. But that was an important point. You truly brought up an important point. Not only you did public service saving our ice creamers, the pain and torment of wondering why the fuck they spent probably $35 to go see this movie, but also because of the message that it carries. Why would you subject yourself to that? So it's a very, very valid point, and I guess that's something that is good for us to do here. You and I,
and
when it calls for it.
I guess that's my final thought, and that is that, listen, I'm all about exploring ideas in art.
Yeah.
I don't think anything is off the table, but if you're going to explore a subject like depression and how depression can lead to suicide,
Yeah.
you better damn well be doing that in a very careful and very
So
sensitive
compassionate.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
Yes. Yeah.
and I don't think the message that I don't think the essential message. I think we need to be helping people that feel like that. Not
Yeah.
kind of. I mean, you could get someone. Let's be honest. You could get someone that could come out of that movie and be like, "Yeah, you know what? Maybe it is a good idea to end it." I don't know. But
Yeah. Well,
listen,
I expect Eric Idle to come out from Life of Brian, but a darker one. Let's look at the
oh,
fucked up
bright
side of
side
life.
of life. Thank you. You know what?
Always look at the fucked up side of life.
Thank you. You know what? You always do, man. You cheered me up. You cheered me up. So you know what? Enough for the woman in the yard. Because you know what?
Yeah.
I've wasted my money. I wasted my energy. I've wasted my time, and I don't want to waste anything else on what I frankly think is a piece of shit. So
Yeah.
I'm going to even not even bother. Tell me, I know you watched something recently, and you were like, I'm going to tell you about this. I'm going to tell you, right? So go on. What's your flick? What's your flick?
Yes. Something I queued up on my watch list for Amazon Prime. That I saw the trailer. I loved it. It's called Studio 666. It actually came from a story by Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters, and it stars Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters. And also, I believe, it's executively produced and musical score created by one of our all-time favorites, the guru himself, John Carpenter.
Oh
Yes.
shit!
Yes.
So what's it about? Well, listen. First of all, you had me with Dave Grohl, because I love that guy. I
Yes.
think
Oh,
he's fantastic, right? I
yes,
think we're
absolutely.
unanimous. What's the movie about? What's the gist of it?
Well, it's a tongue-in-cheek real horror comedy. It really is. It doesn't take itself seriously, but it's literally the Foo Fighters playing themselves and the studio going, "Where's the fucking album, Dave? We spent a lot of money, Dave. We're waiting for this fucking album, Dave. Where the fuck is this album?" And he's like, "We got it for you. It's all in here, Dave." Dave is like, "It's all in here." The studio exec's like, "It's all in there, but Where's the tape? Do you have anything? Oh, well, we need this. We tried all the studios, blah, blah, blah. We need something. We need something like the Led Zeppelin house. We need something like that to fuel the creativeness for this awesome, what's going to be totally epic 10th album from the Foo Fighters, because our fans deserve nothing less. This is going to be our opus. And guess what? They get this haunted mansion as their studio, just like when Zeppelin did theirs, and all of the lore behind that album and that recording. So it literally revolves around Dave Grohl going through writer's block and going, okay, what about this? Oh, and the band members like, Dave, we did that like fucking 20 years ago. That was our song blank. He's like, oh, fuck, that's right. God dang it. Oh, I'm in the slump. I don't have it anymore. What am I going to do? Well, you stumble into this haunted basement with a sacrificed animal, and lo and behold, you find this reel-to-reel with something ominous on it.
Oh.
And it just goes from there. Again, I love Dave Grohl. I really do. I love when he was with Nirvana. I mean, Nirvana, that whole musical scene back when they called it grunge, way back in the 90s,
phenomenal.
was
phenomenal.
Absolutely phenomenal. For me, it was a resurgence. Again, you and I, we grew up in the 80s with 80s hair metal band, and what was coming up as really hardcore speed metal and all that fun shit. But the grunge scene, the resurgence, to me was like a revisit back to the classic hard rock of the 70s, the late 60s, early 70s. So I loved that whole era of music. Nirvana was a fresh breath air, really. And so, unfortunately, when Kurt Cobain, talking about the subject we were talking about, committed suicide, left in a huge, devastating black hole in the music industry and the future of Nirvana. Dave Grohl created his band, Foo Fighters, and it's been a phenomenal band ever since. So, again, loved him, loved everything he's done to music, and again, a lot of his philanthropy work as well. Dave Grohl is a hell of a mensch. He truly is. But
absolutely.
With that said, this movie, again, it doesn't take itself seriously. They're having fun with it. It was a fun, entertaining, horribly done horror movie with good effects, good special effects. But it just goes to prove that, for the most part, rock stars should stay rock stars and not actors.
So is it kind of like almost like a mockumentary, like a kind of a Spinal Tap thing with a horror twist? Is that what we're talking here?
Yeah, I guess that'd be kind of a good comparison. Yeah, a good description of it. But again, totally fun. I didn't know I kind of knew what to expect when I saw the trailer, but when I was watching it, I'm like, oh, this is so wonderfully horrible. It's I feel guilty, but I love it.
Okay. So the movie again is called
Studio 666.
Studio 666.
Yes.
And is it streaming? Where can we see
Streaming on Amazon Prime.
Amazon Studio 666. It's on Amazon Prime.
Yes.
Beautiful. So you know what? So I guess we're kind of coming up on the end of the show here. So the key takeaway there for our audience is watch Studio 666. It is on Amazon Prime. It's got Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters. So if you're a grunge fan, you're gonna love it.
Yep.
Do not, under any circumstances, waste your money on The Woman in the Yard. And if you have already seen it, commiserations to you. And Blumhouse, next time, do better. So we're coming to the end of the show there. This is Limes signing out. We will be back in a couple of weeks with our next show. As always, if you like the content, please, we need you. Subscribe to the channel, share the videos, tell your friends, like, comment, and, just basically, thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. So I'm going to throw this over to Mr. Gibbs here, Mr. Cool J, who always loves to say,
keep screaming.
Peace out, iScreemers. We'll see you soon.
Love ya.